Hi, I'm Callum from Tyne Valley Motorhomes, and this is the handover of the Chausson Flash 610. So as we start the walk round on the driver's side of the vehicle, you've got your LPG locker here, which is your gas locker, and it holds a 6 kilogram gas bottle. To connect the gas bottle, it's a left hand thread, so the opposite threads with gas. No need for a spanner, as this is a hand tight pigtail. And then you secure the bottle with the straps to make sure it's strapped in and doesn't move when you're traveling, and always make sure that it's turned off when you're on the road, and you can turn it on when you arrive and stop on your site, and you would do that from the top of the bottle. This key here does all the outside locker, so you just got to push the door in, rubber seal on there so it's quite stiff, and then lock. Opens the door as well, so down to lock, up to open. You've got your two, or should I say your three fridge vents, your awning light and your awning. We'll show you your awning on the day of collection. It's quite simple if you've had a motorhome before, but we're going to show you that. WC is your cassette toilet. So ensuring that the blade is in the closed position on the ball of the toilet, you'll be able to lift and slide it out. Got some wheels there so you can drag it along the side to your waste disposal point, which is normally behind or beside your toilet block, showering block. Remove the cap. Hold it 90 degrees, press the button and tip out. Once you've tipped it out, there's normally a tap there, so you would always put some water in and give it a rinse, tip out again. And then if you're using the green or the blue chemical, a cap full into here, and it's good to go into the vehicle. If you're using the liquid, the tablets, so you've got the liquid, which is, and then you've got the new form, which is the tablets. You put a pint of water into the cassette, and then you can either drop a tablet down the toilet and open the blade, or you can pop one in like this, and then it'll go straight back into the vehicle. And then remember to use Fed toilet paper or cheaper toilet paper at the supermarkets. None of your Andrex or your Cushell, because it's too thick of toilet paper, it will block this up. So the cheaper stuff is probably better on the motorhome toilets, or again the Pacific motorhome toilet paper. Underneath the back wheel you've got your waste water, so this is anything you've put down a plug hole. Pull the handle and that'll drain off in the middle there, so you drive over the grid on the way out of the site and open this. Make sure it's open in the winter when you winterize in the vehicle, because you wouldn't want that water to freeze. So that would be one of the points you'd make sure was left open. In your garage you've got your winding handles for your awning and your bike rack. You've got a light here, should the power be on inside. 12 volt and 240. Your silver screens, and your compressor and gel pack for the Ford Transit, because it doesn't come with a spare wheel, it's a fix and go kit. So if I take this one, we'll go around the back. You've got your bike rack. So first of all, loosen the strap off. On both sides there's one. And then you pop this on the contact there, and then you would wind it down. So you wind it down when you are loading your bikes, so it's easier to get them on. And once you've got your bikes on, you wind it back up, and the bikes will just sit higher on the vehicle, because you can't travel with it out like this. It's too far out the vehicle. And then just pull on the rails there, you put your bike wheels and tie them down, and then you put these through the crossbars. And then what I would advise is putting some security, like a bike lock, round your bikes and round the frame of the bike rack, just to stop people from stealing them if you want to be parked at the service stations or anything. And then, like I said, wind it back up, and then you put the straps back on. Through the door, access for your garage. You've got your main hooker point, so to hook the vehicle up, get your hooker bleed, lift the collar, slide on, hook the vehicle first, so always the motorhome, then the power source, and obviously do it in reverse when unhooking, and push the blue lever down when unhooking, and that'll allow you to pull it off. Fresh water intake, hose pipe in there until it overflows or until you're happy you've got enough water on board. You will need some ends because it's just a brass tap on most sites. And then underneath the vehicle, if you pull this bung off, this 50mm compression fitting, that'll drain all the water off. So there's two, there's one there and there's one here. We'll drain it all off when winterizing. Should you be not using the vehicle in the winter, it's very important to drain it off. Or should you be leaving it for a few weeks, stagnant water, you'd want to drain that off. Or if you've taken contaminated water on a site. Truma vent cover must come off. So your boiler's behind here. When heating the water on gas, this must come off. If it's on electric or you're travelling, that's fine, it can stay on. Push down, thumb in the middle, take it off. The best place to put this in the passenger door pocket. You've got your diesel filler there, so it'll react to, it's a capless system, so it'll react to the metal on the diesel filler and it'll fill with diesel. Turn off the passenger airbag should you need to, just in here, and you can turn it on and off with the key. Leisure batteries underneath the passenger seat and engine batteries underneath the driver's seat. And then to open the bonnet, you'd use your key. As it's a Ford. Left to pop the bonnet, right to release the second catch. Then you do have all your fluids, so you've got your screen wash, your brake fluid, your power steering fluid, your engine oil, and a dipstick. The positive for a jump start, and then your negative, you just earth off the engine hoist as if you're going to lift the engine out with a crane, just goes on there. And then you've got your coolant. Weight plate on here, so 3.5 ton gross vehicle weight. Train weight can't exceed 5.5 ton, which is the motorhome and whatever you're towing. And then that HOF 2141 is your build number, so should you ever need parts and you're coming through a Chausson dealer, quote that number. They'll be able to put that onto the Chausson system and find the right part for your vehicle.
I've always got a face for.
So inside the vehicle, this is your main 12-volt control panel. So if you're hooked up, you'll get this little green light next to the hooker bleed. If you're not, you will just only have 12 volt off your leisure battery. You've got your on off here, which is your master switch. Which turns on the 12 volt or 240. And then you've got your light switch. You must have the lights on to operate the bed, the drop down bed, because that's just how the French have wired it. You've got your pump, so should you have sufficient water in the boiler and the fresh water, you can turn the pump on. You've got your owner light, which is the light outside of the vehicle above the habitation door, and then these buttons here correspond with these on the bottom. So you've got the one of the trailer, which is your leisure battery reading, which you can see there's in the green. You've got the one of the truck, which is your Ford engine battery reading, which is in the green again. Water levels, this is your fresh water, and when that goes down to there, it means your waste's full, and when that goes red, it means it's time to refill your fresh water with a hose pipe from outside. On the door, you've got a full fly screen when the door's open, and then to lock it, so it's shown green, make it show red by flicking the chrome catch, and then as soon as you go for the handle, it will release. So in the kitchen area, you've got 3 gas burners, which you will need a igniter for. Allow it to cool before you put the lid down, but you have got the splash guards as well, which go either side to stop things from splashing. And then when your pump's on, you get pressurised water, so hot and cold, and that's getting a temperature there. And if you push the catches in, it'll release the travel catches, so you've got a cutlery drawer, some storage. Remember to push the catch back in, so if you do start driving, the door won't open. Drainer for the sink, so that'll just go over this sink, and you can put things on there. Storage underneath, and storage to the side. This light on here turns on both lights, the strip light and the little reading light, spotlight. Push the catch in, releases the door, so you've got some storage racks there, and then you do have a 12-volt power source in the cupboard. And then opposite it, you've got a grill with light, and then you've got a large freezer box and fridge. And at what rate you turn on and off here, you'll see there that it's showing that it's on hookup and the temperature's on full. To change the source, you'd press this grey button here, wait until it starts flashing, and then use the arrows. So at present it's on hookup, which is mains electric when hooked up, so it acts as 240 fridge, the same as the one in the house. Press and hold, it'll start flashing, and then you can move it. So you can go to battery, which you have to pre-chill the fridge before, and then this is just a feed off the engine alternator. It'll keep this shop nice and fresh, so it turns it into a big cool box. So if you've gone from one site to another, you could use it, or if you've pre-chilled it at home on hookup a few days before with the shopping in the night before, put it onto battery when you travel, it'll keep the shopping nice and fresh. It'll get no warmer, but it'll get no cooler. It'll just keep it at that temperature it was when you left. And then you've got your gas at the end, which is the gas flame when you're wild camping and you're not hooked up and you're just parked in the middle of nowhere. Press, then you've got your temperature, so you can go 5 bars being the coldest. So when pre-chilling, you probably want it on 5. When you've got shopping in, you probably want it on 3 or 4. Press enter and it'll start lighting on gas there. When you are finished with the vehicle for a few months, or you're putting it to bed for winters, you're not going to use it, if you clean it out, take all your remaining items out, empty it, clean it out, then what you want to do is you want to just lift these toggles out. So you've got 2, pop one in there and one in there, and what that's designed to do is keep the door open ajar, so that air circulation is there, and that no smells or mold starts growing in there. You've got 3 gas taps underneath your fridge. These are mainly for when the vehicle is habitation serviced by a service centre. Any problems with gas, turn the bottle off to be safe, but you can isolate each item. So you've got the hob, the grill and the fridge there. Coming into your washroom, so your lights here on the front of the sink. Toilet space for toilet rolls along the back, and then you've got some more cabinet space and a handy towel rail. So to operate the toilet, you've got to make sure that the pump's on, and it's a fresh water feed, so press the blue button here and it'll flush with fresh water. So flush first, which lubricates the blade, stops the seal from going brittle. And then what you want to do is you want to slide this to the right before you use it. So flush first, open, and then use it with the cassette blade open, so everything goes into the cassette, there's no leaks. Then what you want to do is flush after use, and then slide this back to the left, which shuts the blade, and then should you need to empty it, you'll get it out. If it's left open, it'll not come out and you'll know what you've done. But always get into the practice of opening it when using it and shutting it when not in use. In the shower, so you've got your shower screen, which is tied back when travelling, and you've got your skylight, so you can just turn this to open the skylight. Ensure it's shut with all skylights and windows before travelling, and you've got a handy hanging rail for wet towels or wet coats if you're being caught walking the dog out on a walk. But what you will want to do when winterizing, so you've opened the fresh, you've opened the waste, remove the shower head, allow this hose to lie in the tray with the shower mixer open, open the kitchen mixer and the hand basin mixer, just so any water in the lines just comes out, drains through the plug hole, and the waste would be open from outside, so it would automatically go out of the vehicle. At the back here, pushing these two catches, you've got your large wardrobe with hanging rail, TV aerial, so it's fitted with a status TV aerial. So at the moment you've got a green light on the booster which says you've got a signal. If that was to go red or amber, it means amber means you're struggling for a signal. So what you will need to do, loosen the nut off, push the stem up and use the toggle to direct the aerial on the roof. But the best thing to do is look where the other motorhomes and caravans are pointing on your site. But then always when travelling, before you set off, pull it in and tighten, because you wouldn't want the wind to rip the aerial off the vehicle. And then should the signal be too strong or too weak, what you can try is min and maxim. So use the amplifier and you can maximize it or minimize it should the signal be too strong or too weak and you've got a pixelated TV signal. On the back of your travelling seats in the kitchen is your Basto diesel heater. So what you've got to make sure that you've got a quarter of a tank of diesel or more, started at full, get the solid green light, give it 5 minutes to start the combustion of diesel, and then you can adjust it to the temperature that you want. You can use this when on the road for your rear passengers if you're away in the winter and it's cold, or you simply want to preheat the vehicle 20 minutes before arriving on site. You can pull over and turn it on. That's totally fine, but like I say, quarter of a tank of diesel or more, otherwise this won't be getting a diesel feed because it's on a total different level to the main engine tank, so that if it did drain the diesel heater, it would drain the heater first and you'd still have enough to get off site and to a forecourt to fill up with diesel. This is the key for the table, so the table's electric. So as long as the lights are on, same as the bed, just very gentle with it. Table will go up and down, and you would drop the table in to form the bottom bed, which I'll show you in a moment. So when you drop the table in position by using the electric switch, drop it in, pull these out, these just slide out just for a bit of support. You've got one cushion which is in a bag here which goes like there, and you'd use the backrest it's a tight fit, but there you have one double bed. And then your other one, like I said, as long as the lights are on, release the strap, turn the key on, press and hold, and it'll come down. You can stop this at any height, so it's like a double bunk bed, or if it's just the two of you can bring it down to a more reasonable height. The ladder clips on here, and you've got nets which attach to these rings on the ceiling should you be putting children or grandchildren in the beds above. But then just push and hold. Don't click 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 because it'll fault the switch. Just keep your finger held down. All the way, and then it just needs a final seatbelt in and a click. So just push this corner up slightly, and that's just for travelling to keep the bed stable. And to heat the water, located just behind the passenger seat. So your boiler's behind here, which I'll get onto in a moment, but to heat the water you've got two switches. So you've got Truma boiler, you've got Truma boiler EL. EL's electric, Truma boiler's gas. So this is where the cover must come off to operate on gas. So you've got off in the middle, 50 degrees of heating the water, or 70 degrees. When you get the red light on here, it means it's failed, so that you've either left the cover on, or you haven't turned the gas on, or the gas is run out, so there's no gas in the bottle. So that's a gas you'd use when wild camping, but you can use them both together if you're in desperate need. So you can have the gas and electric on, which double the source will reduce the time it takes to heat the water if you're in desperate need for hot water for showering. But normally if you're on a site, you'll just use Truma boiler EL, which is the electric side, and you've got off in the middle 1 kilowatt of electric and 2 kilowatts of electric at the bottom. So that's equivalent to 50 and 70 degrees on the electric. Behind here is your boiler. So just take these cushions off. You've got your fuses, so your 12-volt fuses, and your mains trips in this white box here. So if you trip the vehicle out, try here before you try the main site. But your boiler's at the back, and that holds 10 litres of hot water at any one time. You must allow this 10 litres out in the winter because it could freeze and crack the boiler. And it's not covered under warranty, as it's your responsibility to drain the vehicle down. So you'd start with the fresh and the waste. Open all the taps, remove the shower head, and then the last thing you want to do is drain this down. So you'd come in with no power. That yellow toggle that's lying down at the bottom here, you'd stand up like so, and it'll drain the 10 litres directly out underneath the chassis. When you come to reuse the vehicle, so you'd shut that tap, you'd put the bungs on the fresh outside, you'd shut the waste, you'd shut all the taps in the vehicle, you'd assemble the shower head. Then what you would do is fill with fresh water with a hose pipe, come in, put the power on, put the pump on, go to the cold side of the tap first. You get automatic cold water because it's pumping it from the tank underneath the vehicle direct to the tap. Go to the hot side, it's pumped, and then it'll cough, splutter, make all sorts of noises. Don't be alarmed, it's natural. And what that's doing is it's pulling the water from the main tank into the boiler. The boiler's pushing all the air that it's accumulated through the taps until you get a steady flow, and it's pressurized on one tap. Then you do them all and it's ready for the season. That is your water primed when you get no spluttering through the tap on the hot side. But remember, drain it down, because it's not covered under warranty, and it's very expensive if you don't drain it down to replace one of these boilers. When travelling, people in the back, so you want to use both seats, this cushion lifts out, and there's a board on it which lifts out as well, and you can put that in the back wardrobe out the way, so you can travel 4 people, 2 in the front and 2 in the back. So now in the cab, to the right of the driver you have your folding handbrake, so don't assume that it's off. You've got to put your foot on the brake, obviously pull it up, press the button in and release, and the light will go off. Then you'll hear it ratchet back up. Electric windows, electric mirror adjustment, so you can adjust both. The bottom blind spot has to be manually adjusted by hand. You've got your off, side lights, main beam, obviously front and back fogs. This is fitted with an alarm, so when locking the vehicle it automatically puts the alarm on. When unlocking the vehicle it activates the alarm, but what you've got to do with the Fords is you've got to open the driver's door. Otherwise, if you don't open the driver's door, it doesn't really recognize the habitation door, just sees it as a chassis cab, so 2 doors, and it will think you've pressed the button by accident and it will re-alarm the vehicle. So simplest thing to do is unlock it, walk up to the vehicle, open the driver's door, close the driver's door, open the habitation door with the key and jump in. Otherwise it will re-alarm. If you want to turn the sensors off, what you've got to do is you've got to ignition on, ignition off to turn these off if you're leaving the dog in or you want to arm it with yourselves in. So ignition on, ignition off. Within 6 seconds of turning the ignition back off, press and hold the button. It will flash until it simply doesn't flash anymore, and that is the alarm off, or should I say the sensors off, and you'll still be able to alarm the perimeter of the vehicle. And then as soon as you turn the engine on, it goes back to default, so you'll have to do that again. Steering wheel controls, this will scroll through your range, your average speed, your average miles per gallon, your instant miles per gallon, and your miles covered. You've got your cruise control here, and then you can set and your speed limit and set that, and cancel resume. Should you have to stop your cruise control, you can cancel it and you can resume it there, or you can cancel it with a foot brake and resume it on there. Lights and, I should say, indicators, wipers, 6-speed manual gearbox with lift the collar into reverse, but you've always got your rear view camera on. FM AM radio, press 1 to 9 to save your favourite channels. Aux is obviously Bluetooth audio or USB connection, but you can press this button here and there's a 3.5mm jack if I put my teeth in, and a 12-volt point if you want a sat nav. 2 grooves for wires so you can hide it all there, and it looks quite neat. And then to connect your phone, you press phone. Menu, it says add a device, go to the top, press OK, and you want to find Ford Bluetooth on your phone, press pair. It'll ask you if you want to allow your contacts to be saved, press allow, and that'll all sync your phone book into here. You've got your volume on off there. Underneath you've got your distribution, your aircon button, your temperature, your recirculation button, and your fan speed, and another 12-volt point. Large glove box. But one thing, because this is a Ford, it's got the heated windscreen, so you've got this button here, so you can turn your heated windscreen on and off, and it'll clear it within 30 seconds of being frozen. And then if you want to turn your seats, little bar here, so always pull the seat forward first, and then little bar, turn the seat round into the rear, and it's the same with the passenger side. And to black the carb out, pinch, we've got Remus carb lines here. Pull your mirror forward, they'll clip behind, and do the same this side. And then these are just magnetic. You've got to feed the wire through for the reversing camera, so pull it down ever so slightly. There you go, blacks driver and passenger and the windscreen. But you do have the curtains as well, which is more of a thermal insulation for in the winter, so they'll come round if you want to keep the heat in or out.